When we think of the heart, we might first think of its biological function. Pumping blood throughout our bodies, keeping us alive, a steady, rhythmic beat that sustains our physical existence. But throughout history, across cultures and spiritual traditions, the heart has symbolized so much more than just a vital organ. It has been revered as the seat of emotions, the center of the soul, the bridge between the human and the divine. Today we begin a journey into the spiritual significance of the heart, exploring how different traditions understand its role in our spiritual lives. Let's start our exploration in ancient Egypt, a civilization that was as much spiritual as it was technological. To the ancient Egyptians, the heart was not just a physical organ, it was the essence of a person's being. They believed that the heart was the seat of intelligence, emotion, memory, and even the soul. In fact, when someone passed away, their heart was left inside the body during mummification because it was considered essential for the afterlife. The Egyptians had a fascinating belief that in the afterlife, the heart would be weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and justice. This ceremony, known as the weighing of the heart, determined the fate of the soul. If the heart was light, pure, and free from the burden of wrongdoing, the soul would pass on to a blissful afterlife. However, if it was heavy with sin, the heart would be devoured by the fearsome deity Ammit, and the soul would be condemned to non-existence. This idea, that the heart is not just a physical organ but a moral compass, a record of one's life, speaks to the deep spiritual significance the Egyptians placed on the heart. It was believed to contain the sum total of one's actions and thoughts, making it central to their understanding of the afterlife and moral conduct. As we move from the sands of Egypt to the spiritual landscapes of India, we encounter the concept of the heart in Hinduism. In Hindu philosophy, the heart is considered the seat of the Atman, the true self, which is distinct from the ego or the physical body. The heart is also central in the chakra system, where it is represented by the Anahata chakra. The term Anahata means unstruck or unbeaten, referring to a sound that is eternal and not created by any two things striking together. The Anahata chakra is located at the center of the chest and is associated with the element of air, symbolizing openness, expansiveness, and the flow of energy. In Hinduism, the heart chakra is crucial for emotional and spiritual balance. It is the bridge between the three lower chakras, which are associated with basic survival, and the three upper chakras, which are connected to higher spiritual consciousness. The heart chakra is the center of love, compassion, and empathy. When this chakra is open and balanced, it allows us to love unconditionally, connect deeply with others, and experience a sense of peace and harmony with the world around us. Moving to the spiritual traditions of the East, we find that in Buddhism, the heart is intricately connected with the mind. The concept of Bodhicitta, often translated as awakened heart or mind of enlightenment, plays a central role in Mahayana Buddhism. Bodhicitta is the compassionate wish to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. It is considered the heart of the Buddhist teachings and is the motivating force behind the practice of the Bodhisattva path. In Buddhism, the heart is not just a place of emotions, it is the seat of deep compassion and wisdom. The cultivation of Bodhicitta involves nurturing the heart so that it can expand to include all beings in its care. This process transforms the heart into a source of boundless love and empathy, transcending personal desires and focusing on the well-being of others. The heart, in this context, becomes a vehicle for spiritual awakening, guiding the practitioner toward enlightenment. Now, let's cross over to the Abrahamic traditions, starting with Judaism. In Jewish thought, the heart, lev in Hebrew, is often mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as the center of human will, emotion, and intellect. The heart is where decisions are made, where moral choices are pondered, and where devotion to God is cultivated. In Deuteronomy 6 verse 5, we are commanded to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. This verse underscores the importance of the heart as the seat of love and commitment to God. In Jewish mysticism, particularly in Kabbalah, the heart takes on an even deeper significance. It is seen as the inner sanctuary where the divine presence, or Shekinah, can dwell. The heart must be purified and opened through prayer, meditation, and the study of Torah, so that it can become a vessel for divine wisdom and love. The heart, in this sense, is both a place of emotional depth and spiritual connection, where the human and the divine meet. In Christianity, the heart is central to the teachings of Jesus and the spiritual life of believers. One of the most powerful symbols in Christian spirituality is the Sacred Heart of Jesus. This image, often depicted as a heart surrounded by thorns and flames, represents the boundless and sacrificial love of Christ for humanity. The Sacred Heart is a reminder of Jesus' suffering and his deep, compassionate love that extends to all people, regardless of their flaws or sins. The heart, in Christian spirituality, is also seen as the dwelling place of God's love. In the New Testament, Jesus teaches that the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. Matthew 22 verse 37. This commandment places the heart at the very center of spiritual life. The heart is where love for God and for others is nurtured and where the Christian's relationship with the divine is cultivated. Let's now turn to Islam, where the heart, or qalb in Arabic, is of paramount importance in both the Quran and Islamic mysticism, particularly Sufism. The Quran frequently mentions the heart as the seat of understanding, intention, and spiritual insight. A pure heart is essential for a true connection with God. Sufis, the mystics of Islam, have developed an entire spiritual discipline around the purification of the heart. They believe that the heart is naturally inclined toward God, but it can become clouded by the ego, desires, and worldly distractions. The process of tazkiyah, or purification, involves cleansing the heart of these impurities through practices such as prayer, fasting, and meditation. A heart that has been purified becomes a vessel for divine light and wisdom, reflecting the beauty of God's presence. In Sufi poetry, the heart is often described as a mirror that must be polished so that it can reflect the divine. The journey of the Sufi is, in essence, a journey of the heart, an inward path that leads to the ultimate union with the beloved, which is God. In Taoism, an ancient spiritual and philosophical tradition from China, the heart is known as Xan. It is seen as the seat of both emotions and intellect, governing our thoughts, desires, and feelings. However, Taoism teaches that for the heart to align with the Tao, the fundamental principle that underlies and unites all of existence, it must be kept calm and free from disturbances. A calm heart allows one to live in harmony with the natural flow of life, moving effortlessly with the Tao. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or non-action, is closely related to this idea. It's not about doing nothing, but rather about acting in a way that is in perfect harmony with the natural order. When the heart is calm and balanced, it can intuitively sense the right course of action, allowing a person to respond to life's challenges with grace and ease. In this way, the heart becomes a guide, leading us along the path of least resistance, where our actions are aligned with the greater flow of the universe. Across these traditions, we see that the heart is not merely an organ, but a profound symbol of spiritual life. It represents love, compassion, wisdom, and the connection between the human and the divine. The heart is where we encounter our deepest truths, where we experience the fullness of our emotions, and where we connect with something greater than ourselves. But what does all of this mean for us today? In a world that often emphasizes the intellect, logic, and external achievements, these ancient teachings remind us to return to the heart. They call us to cultivate a heart that is open, compassionate, and aligned with our highest values. Whether we follow a specific religious tradition or not, the heart's wisdom is universal. It speaks to something deep within us, something that transcends culture, religion, and time. As we navigate our modern lives, it can be easy to get caught up in the mind, to focus on the external and lose touch with our inner world. But the heart invites us to slow down, to listen, and to reconnect with what truly matters. It encourages us to live from a place of love, to approach life with compassion, and to seek balance and harmony in all that we do. In our relationships, the heart teaches us to love deeply and unconditionally, to forgive, and to show kindness even when it's difficult. In our spiritual practice, the heart is the gateway to the divine, the place where we encounter the sacred and experience the presence of God or the ultimate reality. And in our personal growth, the heart is a guide, leading us toward a life that is authentic, meaningful, and aligned with our true selves. So as we continue this journey, let's remember to honor the heart, not just as a physical organ, but as a sacred space within us. Let's cultivate its wisdom, nurture its compassion, and allow it to guide us on our spiritual path. Because in the end, it's the heart that connects us to the deeper mysteries of life, to each other, and to the divine. As we continue our exploration of the heart's spiritual significance across different traditions, we begin to see how this simple yet profound symbol connects deeply with our humanity. In the first part of our journey, we delved into the teachings of ancient Egypt, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Taoism, uncovering the heart's role as a bridge between the human and the divine. Now, let's deepen our understanding by examining other spiritual traditions and philosophical perspectives, and how the heart's wisdom can be applied in our modern lives. Let's turn our attention now to Confucianism, a philosophical and ethical system that has profoundly influenced East Asian cultures. In Confucian thought, the heart-mind, known as Xan, is central to human morality and virtuous living. Xin is not just about feelings or thoughts. It represents the integrated center of a person's emotional and cognitive life. According to Confucius, the cultivation of a virtuous heart-mind is essential for becoming a morally upright person. In Confucianism, the heart-mind is where moral judgments are made and where virtues like benevolence, ren, righteousness, yi, and propriety, li, are nurtured. The cultivation of these virtues begins in the heart, and it is through this inner development that one can contribute to social harmony and order. Confucian teachings emphasize the importance of sincerity, cheng, in the heart, which means being true to oneself and aligning one's actions with inner moral principles. A sincere heart is not swayed by external temptations or selfish desires but remains steadfast in the pursuit of goodness and harmony. This idea that the heart-mind must be cultivated and purified resonates with the teachings of many other traditions we've discussed. It highlights the importance of inner work, of nurturing the qualities of the heart that lead to a life of virtue, integrity, and wisdom. Now, let's explore the indigenous spiritual traditions of the Americas, where the heart is often seen as the center of spiritual power and connection to the natural world. Among many Native American tribes, the heart is not just a personal center but is deeply connected to the earth and the cosmos. The heart is understood as the place where the physical and spiritual worlds meet, where the wisdom of the ancestors and the spirits can be heard and felt. In these traditions, the heart is often linked with the concept of walking the red road, which means living in harmony with the earth, with others, and with oneself. This path is one of balance, respect, and reverence for all life. The heart, in this context, is the guide that helps individuals stay true to this path, making decisions that honor both the individual and the collective well-being. Ceremonies and rituals such as the sweat lodge or the sun dance are designed to cleanse and purify the heart, to bring participants into closer alignment with the Great Spirit. These practices emphasize the importance of the heart in maintaining spiritual health and well-being, not just for the individual, but for the entire community and the earth itself. The heart is seen as the source of wisdom, courage, and connection to the sacred. Let's move now to the ancient Greeks, who had their own profound understanding of the heart's role in human life. While the Greeks are often remembered for their emphasis on rationality and philosophy, they also recognized the importance of the heart in emotional and moral life. In Greek philosophy, the heart was often seen as the seat of emotions, particularly love and courage. Aristotle, for example, believed that the heart was the center of life and the source of vital heat that animated the body. He also associated the heart with the virtues of courage and fortitude, essential qualities for living a good life. The Greeks also developed the concept of thymos, a word that can be translated as spiritedness or the spirited part of the soul. Thymos is associated with the heart and is seen as the source of emotions like anger, pride, and the drive for recognition and honor. While thymos can lead to conflict and passion, it is also essential for achieving great deeds and pursuing justice. The challenge, according to Greek thought, is to balance thymos with reason, ensuring that the heart's passions are guided by wisdom and virtue. This idea of balancing the heart's emotions with the mind's rationality is a theme that echoes throughout many spiritual traditions. It speaks to the universal human challenge of integrating our emotional, intellectual, and spiritual selves into a harmonious whole. As we explore the spiritual traditions of Africa, we find that the heart plays a central role in many indigenous belief systems. In many African cultures, the heart is seen as the seat of life force or ash, a Yoruba term that refers to the divine energy that flows through all living things. Ash is often associated with the heart, which is considered the source of one's spiritual power, vitality, and connection to the ancestors. In these traditions, the heart is also where moral and ethical decisions are made. The concept of Ubuntu, a Nguni Bantu term that means I am because we are, emphasizes the interconnectedness of all people. It is through the heart that individuals experience empathy, compassion, and the sense of responsibility to care for others. The heart is where the values of community, solidarity, and mutual respect are cultivated and lived out. African spiritual practices often include rituals and ceremonies designed to strengthen the heart's connection to the ancestors, the community, and the divine. These practices remind us that the heart is not just a personal space but a communal one, where the well-being of the individual is inseparable from the well-being of the whole. In the modern world, we often hear about the importance of following our hearts, of listening to our inner voice. But what does this really mean, especially in the context of the spiritual traditions we've been exploring? To follow the heart, according to these teachings, is to align oneself with the deepest truths of one's being. It means listening to the wisdom that comes from within, the guidance that transcends rational thought and taps into a deeper, more intuitive knowledge. In contemporary spiritual practices such as those found in the New Age movement, the heart is often seen as the key to personal and spiritual transformation. Practices like heart-centered meditation, visualization, and energy healing are all designed to open the heart, to release emotional blockages, and to connect with higher states of consciousness. The heart, in these practices, is understood as a portal to the divine, a space where we can access the love, light, and wisdom of the universe. One of the most well-known contemporary approaches to understanding the heart's spiritual significance is found in the work of the HeartMath Institute. This organization has conducted extensive research on the heart's electromagnetic field and its connection to emotions and overall well-being. They've discovered that the heart emits a powerful electromagnetic field that can influence not only our own emotional state but also the states of those around us. HeartMath teaches that by achieving heart coherence, a state in which the heart's rhythms are harmonious and synchronized, we can improve our mental, emotional, and physical health. Techniques like focused breathing, gratitude, and positive visualization help to create this coherence, which in turn opens the heart to deeper states of compassion, resilience, and inner peace. These modern practices, while grounded in scientific research, also resonate with the ancient spiritual wisdom we've been exploring. They remind us that the heart is a powerful source of spiritual energy and that by cultivating a harmonious heart, we can transform not only our own lives but also the world around us. As we begin to draw our journey to a close, it's worth reflecting on what all of these teachings mean for us today. In a world that is often dominated by the mind, by logic, analysis, and external achievement, the heart calls us to a different way of being. It invites us to slow down, to listen, and to connect with the deeper currents of life. The heart teaches us that true wisdom is not just about what we know intellectually, but about how we live, how we love, and how we connect with others. The heart reminds us that spirituality is not something that exists only in sacred texts or religious rituals. It is something that we live and experience every day. It is in the way we treat others, the way we navigate our challenges, and the way we seek meaning and purpose in our lives. The heart calls us to live with integrity, compassion, and authenticity, to align our actions with our deepest values, and to create a life that is true to who we are. So, how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? One way is by cultivating practices that open and strengthen the heart. This might include meditation, prayer, or simply taking time each day to reflect on what we are grateful for. It might involve engaging in acts of kindness, reaching out to others in need, or practicing forgiveness, both toward ourselves and others. Another way to live from the heart is by paying attention to our emotions, not as something to be suppressed or ignored, but as valuable information that can guide us on our spiritual journey. By listening to the heart's whispers, those subtle intuitions and feelings, we can make decisions that are more aligned with our true selves. Finally, living from the heart means embracing vulnerability. The heart is often seen as a place of strength, but it is also a place of tenderness. To live from the heart is to open ourselves to love, to connection, to the possibility of being hurt, but also to the possibility of experiencing profound joy and fulfillment. It means allowing ourselves to be seen, to be known, and to be loved for who we truly are. As we conclude this exploration of the heart's role in spirituality, let's remember that the heart is not just a symbol, not just an organ. It is the center of our being, the place where the human and the divine meet. It is the source of our deepest emotions, our truest connections, and our most profound spiritual experiences. In the end, the heart is where our spiritual journey begins and where it ultimately leads. It is the place where we find our truest selves, where we connect with others in love and compassion, and where we encounter the mystery and beauty of the divine. So, as you continue on your own spiritual path, remember to return to the heart, to listen to its wisdom, and to allow it to guide you in all that you do. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of spirituality. I hope that these teachings inspire you, comfort you, and guide you as you navigate the challenges and joys of life. May your heart be open, may it be strong, and may it lead you to a life of love, peace, and spiritual fulfillment.